Hello, everybody. This is Charlotte Bergman. I got distracted for a second. Thank you for joining me for Political Talk with Charlotte. I am so happy that you're here and sorry I'm late. But Merry Christmas to everyone. Please join us. Sit back, get your coffee, get your Kool-Aid, get whatever you want, and just feel free to join us and chime in on some of the comments that are being made. I am Charlotte Bergman, and I'm a conservative voice for political and Christian values. Our show airs every Thursday at noon. In order to reach me, send me an email at charlotte@charlottebergman.com or check me out on Facebook at Elect Bergman or at charlotte.bergman.9 on Bitchute. Yes, we are on Bitchute at Political Talk with Charlotte. How about Twitter at Elect Bergman, YouTube at Bergman for Congress, and Twit at Charlotte Bergman. Appreciate you joining me. I hope you're getting ready for Christmas. This is going to be the last Christmas in quite some time where you may not be able to get everything you want, because we're going to talk about the explosion that is going to occur in 2026. And I want you to keep this video and send it back to me at the next Christmas and remind me what I said about how explosive financially 2026 is going to be. If you're new to the channel, leave a comment on, just subscribe to my channel on YouTube and on Rumble. That's when we really need to grow. I mean, on Facebook, we have about 10,000, maybe 2,000 supporters, respectively. I want you to know how much I love you, love your family, love my community, love my country, love people making great decisions to better this community. I truly appreciate you. This show would be nothing without your support. So please comment and share my video. I'm asking you to share my video because Facebook and liberal social media sites are trying to ban me. When you share my video, you break that shadow banding. And check out my book, The Last Trumpet in the Battle for America. It's still time to get it for Christmas. Hopefully, especially if you order it on Amazon and you have an Amazon account whereby you can get free shipment. Go ahead, order it. Get it in 2 days. Now sit back, get your popcorn and your Kool-Aid. I would recommend Kool-Aid this time of day. It's probably safer to enjoy the show just drinking Kool-Aid or soda. This show is about Black liberals versus conservatives. So we're going to discuss the differences between the Black liberal and the conservative. Sorry, my tooth has not totally gotten back the way it should be. Last week, we spoke about the white liberals. This week, we're going to talk about the Black liberals. So I'll be right back. Okay, as I promised, I'm right back. And as you could see, I am preparing for Christmas. I'm excited this year because I think this is going to be the last year in quite some time that we're going to have to suffer as a result of the economy. We are getting out of the Biden economy. We are leaving it behind. Okay, I want you to hear a testimony from this young man who has experience with how the white liberal is affecting Black conservatives. I think it's imperative because I'm doing this show because I know firsthand what it's like to run into white liberals who look at me as a Black conservative and go, So sit back and let's hear what this young man has to say about his experience.
When I first got elected, I think my district was 87% white.
Wow.
I never experienced a single tone of racism running as a Republican from Republicans.
Yeah.
The racism that I felt came from the left.
Yeah.
It was this mentality of we own you, we own your struggle, we own your journey. So, when I was living in poverty, they didn't want to take ownership of the economic conditions I was living in. The government actively tried to keep me in poverty. And when I was able to overcome, it almost became an assumption that I should be a Democrat no matter what.
Yeah.
And so the most racism I've ever experienced is from white liberals, in the state legislature. I've experienced it firsthand. And, when I got to the legislature, I knew the image of me being the first black Republican in 50 years elected to the Ohio House. And I didn't want to be a show pony.
Yeah.
I wanted to show that I had the abilities and the traits to be an effective legislator and an effective public servant. So I put my head down and I introduced a tremendous amount of legislation. I helped my colleagues with their legislation. I built their respect over the first 2 years I was there. And I was truly honored to get nominated and voted in, as the first black majority whip in Ohio's history, regardless of party affiliation. So even when Democrats controlled the legislature in Ohio for a long time, they never nominated and elected a black majority whip.
Wow.
Why did it take Republicans? And it wasn't based off of my race. When the speaker asked me whether I would join his leadership team, I actually mentioned it to him later on. And he's like, that can't be true.
Yeah.
And I've even had Democrats say, well, that can't be true. Well, we went and looked at the history of the legislature, and it's a fact.
Yeah.
You had opportunities to elevate black individuals to these positions, and they chose not to.
Yeah.
Instead, it would always be a white liberal that's telling black people, what's best for them.
Yeah.
You get that? I've experienced that. I know what it's like firsthand. Now, I'll tell you what, let me remind you guys. Many of you probably remember John D. Berry. He was a state representative, black state representative, representing District 90 at the time here in Shelby County. He decided that as a man of God, sharing the word of God, it was wrong to murder babies. It was wrong. And what did the Democrat Party do? It wasn't his constituents, it was the Democrat Party. They decided that he was not going to represent them anymore. So they kicked him off of the ballot. They kicked him off. I've got to see some comments from some of my friends. Oh, Bob. Hi, Bob. Thank you for joining us today. And I hope you find this topic rather interesting. Anyway, getting back to what I was discussing. This young man who served in his state General Assembly didn't get no respect from white Democrats. He got the respect from Republicans. And it didn't matter if he was a Democrat or a Republican, he got respect. Well, that's what happened with John D. Berry. When the Democrats kicked John D. Berry off of the ballot, our Republican governor picked him up and gave him a position, and he has been working for the governor. Sabrina, are you off from work? It's good that you're joining us today. We have quite a few people who are joining us today. I'm really happy about that. Anyway, keep that name in mind, John D. Berry, because he is not a liberal Democrat, even though he was voting on the Democrat ticket. I would recommend that everyone who have values, who share our values, run on the Republican ballots. They will respect you. Now, does anyone else notice how Democrats tend to love black criminals, but they hate black conservatism? Let's see. Does Shelby County Mayor Lee Harris, Mayor of Chicago Brandon Johnson, Fannie Willis, who is the Georgia DA, come to mind? Do any of those people come to mind? They are black liberals. White liberals come out in droves when there is a black conservative We see it over and over again. Now, dear brother and girl, now, little sister and man, we got to look out for you. And if you make it, we got to figure out how do you do it and make sure nobody else follows you. We see that over and over again. The liberals would rather have a George Floyd over a Tim Scott or even over Byron Donalds every day of the week. Democrats are so insecure that the black Republican is going to influence more blacks to leave the plantation. And guess what? It is happening, guys. I'll tell you about my experience. I was not sure about Republicans when I joined the party, but I did notice. Do any of you remember Sarah Palin? Sarah Palin at that time was beginning. Rico says, notice our DA has been quiet lately. I'm wondering if Brent Taylor has helped him to get quiet. I was on a float with Brent Taylor, and the DA was there, and they shared some positive interaction between each other. But anyway, it's really interesting that when Sarah Palin was scheduled to make her initial appearance in Nashville, I was there, and we were in an auditorium, and there was a liberal media crew that showed up. Now, mind you, I was sitting on the front row with a number of other white conservatives. The media crew immediately started filming the white conservatives. They made sure that I was not in the picture. Why? Because they did not want other black people to know that there were black people in the Republican Party that shared the values. They literally did that. And then I found out much later that that was a lot more common than one really knew about. And why was that? It was to keep this mindset up. All of you black Democrats, y'all stay away from the Republican Party because they don't have anybody in the Republican Party except white people. This is 2025. I'm happy to say everywhere I go now, I see more and more conservative blacks coming up and saying, I'm a conservative. And they say it proudly. And it's about time. It is about time. Nobody needs to hold your hand to make you feel like you are included. I used to hear during that time that the media would say, well, black people don't join the Republican Party because the Republicans don't go into their community. Get over it. I didn't need a Republican to come to my community to tell me I needed to adhere to more conservative values. I looked at the fact that the Democrats or liberals were destroying the black family and the black neighborhood. They loved it when there were murders that was going on. They loved it. They supported us. I did not feel that that was something I wanted to follow, especially being a woman of God who read the Bible. They said Republicans are racist. So I went and I joined that racist Republican Party, and I found they weren't racist. These were people who respected you for who you are. Guys, we've got to understand that liberals do not want us as conservatives to get involved. This is what liberals want us to do. Let me pull this picture up for you so you can see it. Yes, you can see it. This is pathetic. This is what liberals do to blacks, conservatives. They want black conservatives to keep their mouths shut. Well, I am a black conservative. I'm a black conservative. I'm a black conservative. I am not going to keep my mouth shut. I'm going to tell the truth. Because when you keep your mouth shut, and especially when you're acknowledge that there are more and more blacks who are supporting. There are more and more blacks who are supporting conservative values every single day. That does nothing but make our community great. Let's see what Bob has to say. Bob says criminality is not dependent upon skin color. Bob, I think there's a lot to that, but here's my concern. When you have a liberal group who are strong in Congress and making legislative making decisions to affect people's life, they go after the black liberal. They go after them. It's a mindset. It is a mindset, but it also, you got to realize who's behind it. You got to realize that it's the media. You got to realize that it is the white liberals who are telling liberal blacks, you got to stay the way you are because those racist Republicans don't want you to be involved. Bob says, I'm looking forward to the day when people across the country stand up and say, get that hockey stick out of my neighborhood if you're going to commit crimes. I love that. I love that. Bob also says the black liberals in Fair County hate what I have to say because I'm like a rash. I have a cause and I'm not going away. Thank you, Bob, for standing on your principles. Thank you. I appreciate that. And what I'm sharing with you guys today is people who have decided to leave the Democrat plantation and to stand upon their own. I've got a liberal who is commenting and saying, am I retarded? I'll let you guys decide if I'm retarded or not. I don't think it has anything to do with retardation. I think it has to do with influence. I think it has to do with being misguided and misled. That big lie that occurred back in the 70s where it says all of those racist Democrats who were KKK, who were slave owners, who were segregationists, every single one of them switched over to the Republican Party, and the Republican Party switched over to them. You got to be some type of stupid to believe something like that. The black liberal today is a tool for our racial enemies. The black liberals are totally compromised and consist mainly of, I hate to say it, but a lot of black women are following that ideology. Gays and the worst of black men. Gays are using black people now in order to get, well, the transgender are using black people now to make their lifestyles normal. The liberals hate other straight black men. They hate the fact that every single black leaders that's fought for our race and even sacrificed their lives is a straight black man. Marcus Garvey, W.E.B. Du Bois, Frederick Douglass, Booker T. Washington, Dr. Ben Carson, Malcolm X, Dr. Martin Luther King, Bobby Seale, Fred Hampton. Not one of them was gay. Not one of them was a woman, and not one of them were trans. The black liberal is fundamentally anarchist. This is not Stalin or G's anarchism. They claim to want liberation, but are the main ones obeying and sucking up to the enemy. The only real oppositional forces are in the black male population. I hate to say that, but a lot of black males, and there are some women too. I can't paint a broad brush over what's happening. But a large portion of black males are beginning to say, this is not what I want, and I'm going to defend my family, and I'm going to turn away from the Democrat Party. We're living today seeing the consequences of individualism, and that is what has happened with a lot of black males now, and me. When nobody cares to maintain their population and community prosperity and safety, which actually is the socialist policy, they work for the enemy. When no one wants to fight for their community, allow liberal legislators, even at the municipal, state, and federal levels, make you afraid of real order returning to the black race because it will force them to behave, there's a problem. You got to turn away from that. You got to, in order to be a strong conservative, you got to love God, respect the Constitution, love your family, and love our country. The Democrat Party is trying to turn us away from that lifestyle. Don't fall for it, guys. Don't fall for it. It's not worth it. The Democrat Party, I'm going to put this up, and I don't care if you don't like it or not. This is how, and they were heading this way, especially with this last administration, who was wasting a lot of time trying to make this look normal. They were making this look normal, and it was affecting our children. Don't go there, guys. Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is this great economic boom that is coming to the United States. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Dirty KY 9309. The grip is over. Yes. 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 Thank you. There are a number of people who are waking up, and I'm proud to be here for them. But anyway, I want to mention this about the economic boom that you're going to see, whether you like it or not, in 2026. We're going to have certain things like economic prosperity. We're going to have, as a matter of fact, what was discussed last night, we're going to have more money in our pockets. You're going to have more money in your pocket in 2026. You know that thing about if you're a waitress or if you work overtime, my son especially works a lot of overtime, and a lot of that money is sent to our federal government. Guess what? 2026, put that money in your pocket. Waitress, when you get a tip, don't worry about the government reaching in your pocket, taking your money. You're going to have more money in your pocket. There is going to be a significant impact on your taxes. You're going to see a tax cut so you can spend more money. Electricity prices are going to fall. I heard a report today that Memphis Light, Gas, and Water is considered the worst division. Memphis Light, Gas, and Water is the worst in this community. It is the worst. And they're not going to be able to fight raising your electrical bills much longer because they're going to be forced to come down because the price of energy is coming down. They're already talking about nuclear energy. They're talking about getting away from energy other than the green energy. You remember that green energy, the one that every other day your electricity went off? Have you noticed that in this past year, since President Trump has been in office and he has put people in position, secretaries in position to make sure that the price of gas, the price of fuel is lower? We're not having those rolling blackouts. I never thought I would have one. I had multiples when Joe Biden was in office. And guess what, guys? We're going to soon see lower interest rates and housing reform. And you're going to see more and more people who are going to be able to afford to purchase a house. Bob, you're on a roll today. Let's see what Bob has to say. I find that 100% of the people who sell out for liberal ideology are easily bought. Woo. That too, but in my community, in my Black community, I am going to tell you that if your mom and your daddy is supporting liberal values, irrespective of how they're hurting you, you're going to be more influenced to follow that route. Even though you don't like it, you hold your nose and you consider yourself part of the team because we have more and more Blacks who are voting Democrat. What do they say? Voting Democrat no matter who, voting blue no matter who. Well, that's changing a lot. So back to Bob's comment, because their fundamental motivation is self-advancement and padding their pockets. Absolutely. They would do anything to accomplish those things and they would fight like hell. Okay, Bob, I'm not seeing everything you're saying. So let me go over here and see if I can. Bob, you wrote a lot, but then that is you. You have a brilliant mind. Okay, they will do anything to accomplish those things, and they will fight like hell to ensure their criminal operations remain intact. They will get behind almost anything except the truth. Ooh, and Jesus Christ, because the truth and Jesus Christ requires them to behave like sane human beings. They fear the truth more than anything. Bob, I mean, you just laid it out perfectly. You're going to have to come on the show and expound on that some more. You are good. Uh, You're smart and then you love the Lord, and that's a great combination. So, anyway, sadly, and the reason I'm having this discussion is because I know a lot of Christians who love God, but because the majority in the community are influenced to vote blue no matter who, they end up getting the Democrat ideology and policy affecting their lifestyle, which is horrible, but they do it in order to keep peace in the family. They vote against their values, they vote against the Bible in a lot of instances because they've been influenced to vote blue or Democrat, no matter who. And that is the reason I'm having these segments and these discussions, because it is imperative that we become individuals and we look at what an organization or party will, what the platform is, what the mindset is, what the policy is, in order to make your life better versus voting for somebody just because Mama, Papa, Uncle Jimmy, and everybody voted for them, because my friends voted for them. Because when I go to a party and I say, oh, I voted for a Republican, everybody gets silent. And then it's almost like, well, you're welcome to leave. I experienced that, but I experienced that a lot, especially after I converted in the 90s and the 21st century. But what I had to do, I had to tell myself, what is more important to me, my relationship with my family or my relationship with God? And as I read the Bible and realized that there were some things that this Democrat Party was encouraging people to overlook, I had to take a stance. Let's see what else Bob has to say. Bob says, I'm not speaking necessarily about being bought financially, being bought relationally, being easily manipulated, being incapable of independent thinking. All of these things tend to grow the liberal base. People sell out for a lot of reasons. Let's see what else Bob has to say. Corrupted public education and a corrupted welfare state are two of the key contributors to this in the poor Black and white communities. That corruption, and we have elected over and over again corrupted individuals, especially at the municipal level. We voted them in, and they've done nothing to put money in our pockets to make our schools better for our children so that they can learn and be better citizens. It's time out for that old way of thinking. It's time for a new way of thinking. It's time to stop being afraid. It's time to stop being afraid. It's time. It's time. It's past time to do the right thing and to vote the right way. And we got to do this because otherwise we're going to lose our country. We're going to lose our country. Okay. Greedy thy mu x4 I you. I'm not able to pronounce that, but that's okay. Um, this person wants you to go to their website. Okay, so do that and let's see what they have to say. Anyway, you guys have a great Christmas. I've enjoyed being with you today. We've discussed some heavy topics, but these topics need to be discussed. I'm going to share with my friends who are on the Republican side. We are not afraid of being looked at and respected for being black. We love being black. So don't be trying to be ashamed for us. We're proud of being black. On the liberal side, leave my people alone, especially people who have strong values, who want the best for their children, because you have shown that you do not have our best interests at heart, especially when you want us to have surgery performed on our children to change them from a female to a male, allow men to go into the women's restroom, allow men to play in women's sports, not pass policies that will make our lives better. Don't try to run our lives. Let us run our own lives and let us live to be the best that we possibly can be. Stop looking down on us because we are proud. We're proud to make the decision to live as conservatives. So, you guys have a very Merry Christmas. I don't know if we're going to have a show next week. And if we don't, I'm thinking of you and I love you. And if we do, it's going to be one that's very, very short. Be blessed. Get out and make this a great day. I love you. And I thank you for joining me because you make my show great. I don't make my show great. You make my show great. And for you liberals who have joined us today, I know you don't agree with what I'm saying, but that's okay. This is America, and you can say whatever you want to say. Like I, as an American, can say whatever I want to say. God bless you. This is Charlotte Bergman with Political Talk with Charlotte.